We should be live. Cross my fingers. Hopefully no more technical issues. We should be live now. So for those that are already tuned in, welcome back to episode 2 of Robbo's Tech Talk Tuesday. This week we're going to be talking about calling in foxes. So hopefully I'll have no technical issues. I've been working pretty hard to sort this out. So thanks to everyone for being patient last week. It was very frustrating on my end, and hopefully cross the fingers. So I'm going to get right into it. So if you've got any questions about calling in foxes, whistling foxes, whatever you want to call it, fire away. So look out. A few of the boys are up already. G'day Robin Coker, Shane Villas, Robert Geyer. I seen your question up early, Robert. Look, to be honest with you, stainless or blued, I don't really want to get distracted a little bit away from this topic tonight, but look, they both have their place, and I have both of them, to be honest with you, so no preference. Paul Ayres, g'day Steve, coming through clear. That's great to hear, thank you. Ashley Woolnong, evening fellas. Lucas Quilty, Stuart Carter, Stephen Light, take the shoot. Hi Robbo. Richard Hatfield, g'day Steve from Richard Melbourne. Love all the videos, mate. Thank you. Well, I tell you now, it's been bucketing down here. It's only just eased up in the last 5 minutes. We've had a bit of thunder and whatever, so it's definitely tested me. Righto. Now, again, if I miss anyone, I miss any of their questions or their comments, it's just that they're coming up quick, guys, and I'd love to answer everyone. And again, I just want everyone to be part of this whole thing. And if you've got any great suggestions, put them up in the comments at the end. I've learned a few things. I made a few mistakes last week, so hopefully I can sort those out. Anyway, I'm just going to quickly go through who's on. Geez, some familiar faces here, guys. Roxby Coulters, hi from Queensland. G'day. Right, blimey. MD loves smashing foxes. Love you. Oh, we've got one of those yellow whistles. Yeah, one of these little doovies. Great little thing. I'll talk about that in a minute. Alright guys, I'm just having a look, let a few people get on and then we'll get right into it. It looks like there's a few jumping on now, which is great. Great to see. Paul Wheatley, hi Robbo, best time of year for what? Being inside. Maybe I'm just a bit of a sook at the moment, but yeah. Alright guys, a few on now, so let's start talking about calling in foxes. Obviously it's something I'm pretty passionate about, something I've done for a long time, and basically it's something that I'd like to pass on a few little tips if you've got any questions. Rex, hi Steve. Presentation looks great, let's get on with fixing. Good on you, Rex. Rex has been instrumental in giving me a few tips and whatever, so thanks again, mate. Alright, let's have a look at some of the questions. Richard Hatfield, best whistle for foxes is new lambs screaming, I reckon. Yeah, well, it's a very fair chance of that. Definitely the foxes will be around a lambing paddock, and if you've got a mate that's a farmer or anyone that's a farmer and they ring you and say that there's lambing going on at the moment, it's often not actually the best time to whistle, but definitely it's a time to be there. Fox drives down the creeks and that we've just done some ourselves recently and it was very productive. So yeah, Lucas, how long do you whistle for before you move on to another spot? Depends on the terrain there, Lucas, but look, really patience is the key, and probably the first time you get into a new location, your first whistle for the day, you really want to stay there probably longer than possibly some of the other spots that you're going to go to. But again, it is definitely the terrain. If you've got sort of open ground, you want to sort of get yourself in a spot that you can actually see, get a little bit of elevation, especially if there's long dry grass. They can come through that grass and you won't see them. So always try and get yourself in a spot where you've got good clear observation of you know, obviously you want to see them before they're coming in and seeing you. So probably I would start off low and then move along, increase the volume. The key is not to keep whistling for too long. You want to draw them towards you, but you don't want them to sort of pinpoint where you are. You just want to keep them inquisitive. So yeah, look, anywhere up from 15 minutes to 20 minutes, the first location. Again, depends on wind. There's a lot of environmental factors, but yeah, that would be probably the first sit of the day. Probably a little bit longer. All right, there we go. John Brown bought one of those whistles after seeing you use them on a video. I take it you're talking about little T2, John. Chris Jarvis, g'day mate. How are you, Chris? Hayden Carney, how are you, Robbo? Thanks, Hayden. I'm doing well. But even better if this is streaming along well. So, Matt Boxwell, what's your normal routine for whistling? Length of time whistling, time of day? Well, I'll probably answer that a little bit on the last answer, but I think the key with whistling is there's obviously peak times, and there's probably, you know, over the summer, you get the younger foxes that are keen to come in, but more importantly, just do it all day. When we're whistling foxes, it's something that we do all day, and obviously the foxes are going to be more prevalent early morning and late evening. But sometimes walking the creeks and whistling, you know, every 200 or 300 metres, you might just get that fox that's sort of just gone to bed. He's half asleep, and he just hears that whistling. And they're the ones that are usually gimmies. They'll come out sort of a little bit dumbfounded, and yeah. So you just go for it all day, mate. Look, we'll often find that you might go all morning and get nothing, and then all of a sudden the first fox will come in, and after that they just keep coming in one after the other. So it's a little bit like fishing, no set rule, you just got to keep having a crack at it. All right, Robin Cobert, techniques for different seasons. Yeah, definitely the summer is probably the most potent time for whistling, but all year round, as far as different techniques, none really. Probably in the summer you'd probably just want to try and avoid the heat where you can, but it doesn't stop us most of the time being out all day, to be honest with you. So I don't really have that much as far as different techniques, probably different whistles, and then I'll move on to that in a minute. But Cohen McKenzie, shotgun or rifle? Now that depends if you're on your own, Cohen. If you're on your own, what I've just been building up is probably going to be the key. Basically both, the 12 gauge, and in my case the combination gun, the 243 as well. But ideally, if you've got say 2 or 3 of you, you want someone with a rimfire, 22 or 17. You want someone with a shotgun, and you want someone with a centerfire rifle, 223, 204, 222. That would be the ideal scenario for us. And if in that situation where you've got 3 of you, you basically start calling, and if that fox is coming in hard, once he's within shotgun range, then the rifle shooter with the rimfire will take him out, and if he misses, well, obviously the shotgun's got it covered. If there's multiple targets coming in, well, you wait for that first fox to get within shotgun range again, and hopefully the guy with the centerfire can take the fox out that's a bit further back. It's all good in theory, but yeah, look, on the day things change. But yeah. All right, what have we got here? Hunter and Fisher New Zealand, NZ. What's your recommended caliber for fox shooting? Oh, for years I just used a 222, probably best part of 30 odd years, and I wanted a bit of a change up. But at the moment I'm using the 204. But 223, 222, 204 all do the job, and so does the 17 HMR. I would say the 17 HMR out to 100 yards in the chest. If you're going to shoot them up to sort of 150, you need to start to smack them in the head. But yeah, and even the 22, we used to use the PowerPoints. And look, to be honest with you, 50 yards, whack one in the head, they weren't going anywhere. So, alright, Huey 59. I got the same yellow whistle, the easiest one to use by far. Good choice. It is, mate. It is a very versatile little whistle, that T2. I didn't think I'd be sort of swung away from the tenterfeel, but it is, I suppose it is a tenterfeel, but yeah, it's a very versatile little thing. It's probably my go-to at the moment. Paul Wheatley, is there a time of year when foxes don't come to the whistle? No, I don't think there is. There's times that they're definitely not probably as keen to come in, but we'll often go away and on the same day you'll see foxes walking across the paddock and you'll whistle them and they'll just keep walking away. And that may make you think, oh, they're not coming to the whistle. But then you'll go to the next gully or whatever and you'll whistle again and one will bolt in. So maybe it's a little bit like Samba deer where, you know, some can be rutting and hard antler and others at the same time can be in velvet. So I don't know. I don't think there's a... Yeah, it's... You know, I reckon just, look, like I said, just give it a crack all year round. But what we got? Look out. Can you hear that thunder? It's all happening here. Do you find deer respond to fox calls out of curiosity as well? Well, deer will obviously respond to that noise if you let off a squeal, but I don't think they're going to come in or whatever. But it's definitely it's going to get their attention. Hayden Carney, would you take an electronic caller over a traditional fox whistle? No. Always. Look, the convenience of having a little fox whistle on you outweighs the other thing. Excuse me, guys, I'm drying up already. Oh, great to hear, Rowan. Thanks, mate. Great stuff. Crisp stream. Thank you. Aussie Hunting Life. Geez, my phone is playing up, Steve. Hi, what are the 3 signs to know if foxes are present on a property? Thanks, love the last video series, cast and crew was epic. It was great to film it, mate. Great bunch of blokes. Thanks for watching. Well, it's usually pretty evident. If you've got livestock, sheep, look, foxes, there'll usually be feathers of birds lying around. There's be carcasses, any kills. You can usually tell when a fox has been around. So if there's no livestock, a little bit different scenario, but you know, stick your game cameras up. Those things will tell no lies. Peter Bianco. G'day, Robbo. Coming in loud and clear up here at Ulladulla, New South Wales. G'day, Pete. I hope you're travelling well, mate. Mythical XO. Egg. Okay, you might have to elaborate a bit there. But Carminas. Hey, Robbo. Have you ever whistled and the buyers totally ignored you for the crickets in the long grass? I don't know about the crickets, but the grasshoppers, the foxes will often just feed on those over the summer. But usually, if there's a squeal of a rabbit coming their way, they're greedy buggers, and they'll basically animals of opportunity. And if they think they've got an easy target coming their way, I don't think it would be an issue. I think, look, we've shot heaps of foxes that are full on grasshoppers and come hard to the whistle. So Bradley Moore, never seen the yellow one. Well, that's a little T2, which I will talk about a little bit later on. I'm just going to try and keep up with these questions. Mick C, any tips for the cagey ones that are just out of range but won't come in or are interested at all? Yeah, shoot them long range. Yeah, that's where your centre fire comes in, and you usually know they're the ones that when you're out spotlighting or whatever, and you'll put the light on, they'll turn and then you won't see them again. You know, they've been educated basically. So yeah, look, you can either change up the whistle, try electronic caller or whatever, or yeah, fox drives obviously in that situation are going to sort of come into their own. Right. Do you find the trumpet or tenterfeel part of the T2 more successful? Well, the trumpet part definitely doesn't carry as far as volume as much as the tenterfeel side of it. The tenterfeel side of it is probably as good as any. And I might look, if it doesn't blow through the microphone later, I might just actually sound off the different callers here so you can make your own judgments. But look, the trumpet definitely gets him going, and I think it's worth starting off with that probably more than the tenterfield sometimes, especially just start off with a low squeak, because it is quite easy to control down lower, where sometimes the tenterfield, even at its lowest, it's quite loud. But again, practice. Dennis Barukas, might give the yellow one a go. Worth a try, Dennis, worth a try. Grizzly Hunting, g'day Steve, hope all is well and loving Tuesday evenings now. Well, I'll be loving it if this is coming through and everyone's hearing me. The sound should be better too, guys, because oh, actually, hold on. Maybe I've just made a mistake. Now the sound might be better. You can tell me if it's changed because I just left my speakers turned on. So, alright, what do we got here, guys? Stephen, lie detector shoot. No Pepsi, no orange juice tonight, mate. Orange juice. Game Trail Films. Have you used decoys and how successful are they? Yeah, well, I've got one here. You can see it there. That's the Architect one. Don't ask me what model it is off the top of my head, but I'll bring that back into shot. Yeah, that was sent to me from Pete at Get Trapped. He's helped me out a few times. I actually broke the screen on the remote and he helped me out. So if you want any of the Architect stuff, get on to Pete up in New South Wales at Get Trapped. Top bloke to deal with. So. No, I'll go on a little bit about the decoys in a moment. They definitely play their, they have their place. Not many. 100 fish in New Zealand. Not as many people in the chat today. Good. I shouldn't say that. At least it gives me an opportunity to catch up with a few of the questions. So, all right. Darren Saunders. How long do you wait when whistling a sight when there appears no instant presentation? Look, what I'll tend to do is I'll start off quieter with the whistle. And again, don't go for too long, because the longer you actually sound the whistle, whether it's quiet or loud, the more chance you've got of giving them an opportunity to pinpoint where you are. You just want to give them a rough idea where you are. So yeah, I don't tend to blow the whistle for probably more than about 30 seconds, a minute at the most. Starting off softly and then moving up. If I've got a really big open area that I can see for sort of a kilometre, I've got a bit of elevation, I might have a bit of a break, but sometimes I wouldn't go past 20 minutes, but it wouldn't be anything to go 10 to 15 minutes. Alright, Lucas Quilty, do you find whistling under spotlight is better than during the day? If so, what is your go-to spotlight? Is it an O-light? No, I don't think it's any better. I definitely have a whistle around my neck when I am spotlighting, and even if and often I'll just use a little button whistle there, just something I can have in my mouth without having to use my hands at all. That's probably the downside a little bit. To get the best out of any sort of tenterfield, you do need to hold it in your hands and sort of angle it to change the tone. Well, I do anyway. So, no, I don't think it's any better at night. But again, it depends how many are around. Obviously, they're more active, and there's been times that we've sort of seen one up on a hill, let go of the whistle, we'll actually turn the light off, let go of the whistle, and next minute we're looking for them and they've run down and they're actually almost under the vehicle. So sometimes they can be hot to trot. So, but to say it's better at night, well, obviously they're going to be more active. They're, obviously primarily a nocturnal animal. So, yeah, definitely won't hurt. It's definitely entertaining when they come in. Probably interesting with your thermals. Like I haven't used any thermal stuff, but for pest control I can see the advantages of it. But yeah, maybe with the spotlight, when you start sticking the spotlight in their face and whistling, even the Dapier's fox will start to think twice. Well, sometimes I'll think twice anyway. Where are we? Hold on. Jeez, we've jumped down here. Into the mountains. Here we go. How are you, Daz? This is the only quality content at 7 p.m. Tuesday. Good work, Robbo. Thanks, mate. Thanks again for your support. Hamey811. Hi, mate. Great vids. Thoughts on combo guns for whistling? Well, give me a few more months and I'll probably give you a more of an accurate assessment of this new one. Well, it's an old one. It's an old Bruno, but yeah, the 12 gauge 243, which I think will be just about spot on, especially with that little 1 to 5 Carls I've put on it. But I used to have a Savage, one of the old Savages, 20 gauge shotgun with a 22 Magnum, and in all fairness it was just on the underside in both rifle and shotgun in the capabilities for hit and power for foxes. Look, it'd do the job, but if you got that one that sat back, you'd want that 222 or that 12 gauge. So definitely got their place, but the trouble is in Australia they're limited on what you can actually get. The Savage was a pretty average quality one. This Bruno I've got now, so far I really like it. So Arthur Antonopoulos, love your work, Robbo. Good on you, Arthur. Thanks, mate. Jason Richards, hey Robbo, ever had a dog come into a whistle? Yes, whistled in quite a few wild dogs, and one I'll tell you a quick little story. We were whistling 4 foxes, as in 4, not the number 4, whistling for foxes, and I was actually backed up on a bit of a clearing, backed up to some tall bracken. It was dead still. I whistled for quite a while, and then I actually heard something behind me, a couple of steps, and I thought, it's just a wombat or something. Anyway, then I heard it again. I thought, that's not right. So I actually got up, I had my old Winchester 101, got up, turned around, started backing away, and I reckon I got about probably 3 metres away from where I was sitting. Next minute, 2 white feet come through, and we've locked eyes at the same time, and I can tell you now, mini Magnums at 3 yards is never going to end up well for a wild dog. And he was a big dog. So, yeah, I might be able to find some photos of that later. Sally Fish Train Hunt. Hi, Robbo. Thanks for the chat. Love the 223 for foxes. Great choice, mate. Yeah, let me catch up. Yes, I need to catch up. Is there any Samba call? I don't think there's an official Samba call, but a lot of guys have make a little bit of a doe call. Don't ask me to do it, but yeah, look, again, sometimes they can be inquisitive. It depends on the situation. But no, officially, I don't think there is actually a Samba call or to buy or purchase. Michael Brady, g'day. Once a farmer has put out fox baits, do you find it takes a few months to see foxes again? Foxes are smart and the baits will never get all of them, so I wouldn't let it deter you. Most farmers put out baits every year and we still get foxes both spotlighting, whistling and doing fox drives in those areas. So I don't think it's going to get rid of them all. MD Sport, absolutely, yeah. 100 fishes. So, loud and clear, Steve. Thanks, mate. Loud and clear, great. Jono Window. G'day, Robbo. Queensland and new to New South Wales here. Do you find it's a colour camouflage cover, or is it movement that gives you away to foxes coming into the whistle whilst you're sitting and watching? Definitely, once they're coming in, a couple of little tricks. I never try and whistle when they're looking at, if they're stopped and looking. When they're moving, their eyesight's virtually out of the equation. So if they're moving, that's the time to make any moves. If you've got to slightly bring up your rifle or your shotgun or whatever, when they're moving, do it. When they're sitting, looking, keep dead still. You can be out in the open, but if you're in a shadow, even without any camouflage on, it's very hard to pick you up. And a lot of our videos, you'll see that these foxes have been coming in, virtually we've been sitting pretty much just amongst rocks. I think the key is to break up your physical structure of your body, as in use some shadows, don't sit on top of a rock, sit in front of it, sort of thing. Same in front of a tree. But yeah, keep the movement to a minimum. But yeah, if they're moving, if they're running or whatever, that's the time to change position. Obviously, they drop down into a little gully and come back up, or while they've dropped down in there, make your move. Chris Jarvis, what about public land for foxes locations? Well, your state forests, mate, that's pretty much it, sort of thing. Definitely, walk the state forest on the edge of farmland and you're going to find foxes. Simon B, sound is good, video is good, content is excellent. Oh, good on you, Simon. Thanks, mate. It is appreciated. All right, Chris Nation, a tip for people spotlighting out of cars shooting. Hold on, I jumped up. Shooting foxes. If no whistle available, the polystyrene out of ammo boxes. Yep. Rub it on the glass. Yep, that's right. It's enough to get their attraction and attention, I should say. So, right, John's. Yes, the internet guy. Don't talk too soon, mate. But I hopefully got some of this sorted. Mackenzie Brown. What do you reckon with hunting with shotguns and flushing with dogs? Yeah, look, we've done this before. We used to do a lot of fox drives, both just with people banging and carrying on and firing a couple of what we'd class as just bangers into the ground sort of thing. But look, dogs will stop you walking over foxes, because foxes will often go to ground and you'll just go over the top of them. But if you've got a good dog, you'll soon know, and it won't be the first time that we've sort of winged one or whatever. We'd never find it, but then all of a sudden the dog's found it wedged in between a couple of rocks or gone down a hole. So, yeah, the old Jack Russells, mate, come in handy there. Aussie hunting. Do you find that foxes are more flighty with a LED spotlight rather than a halogen? Not really, mate. I don't give them the opportunity. Using once, if I see a fox with a spotlight, of less than 5 seconds when that light on them and there's a shot ringing out. White versus yellow, no. I've always just stuck with the standard light, mate. The foxes will either run or not. A lot of blokes love their red things and that, but to be honest with you, just stuck with the normal lights, and now I've virtually dropped all the old spotlights and I'm just purely going with the torches now. They're so good, so portable. Rockaholic 67. G'day, Steve. Have you ever had a wild dog or wild dogs come into the fox whistle? Yes. How's it going, Steve? Eric, how are you, mate? Good to see you here. Shane Villas. Cousin of mine swore by his 220 Swift for his fox hunting. Yeah, mate, 220 Swift's a hell of a gun. A bit of a barrel burner, but definitely gets the job done. For me, it's probably a little bit of overkill, but if you want to shoot them at distance, definitely it's a potent thing. But so it's a 22-250. So, Matt Boxwell, what's a fox drive? Okay, a fox drive is usually... it's a group of guys, anywhere from sort of half a dozen to as many as you want, a dozen. Now you can use dogs or not, basically just using people making noise. The whole idea is to pick a location, whether it's a creek or whatever, and basically make a whole lot of noise and force the foxes down the creek or through the kabungi grass to the guys waiting at the other end, spread out with shotguns. And it is just with shotguns. Very effective. And sometimes you will get those big dogs, the ones that think they're running away from you. Obviously, you've got to work the wind. You don't want to have all your shooters upwind. You want them downwind, and you want to sort of, the drivers or the guys actually pushing the foxes have got to start up the other end. Works quite well, and it's a great day out. Alright, Stephen, lie detector, Shupo. How many whistles do you have, Robbo? I'll go through that in a moment. I've got a few here that I'll just put up and show you, but yeah, quite a few, but I tend to stick mainly to my Tenderfield style because that's what's worked the best for me over the years. Tiger Paulie, have you ever tried or does using salt blocks work on deer? Is it even legal? Paul, I don't want to be rude, but no, I haven't, and I just want to try and stick to the topic tonight because I reckon we could just keep going everywhere with this. So, yeah, no, look, in short, no, I haven't. Edward Berryman, apologies for getting off topic. Do you have any more plans for more collaborative work with Daz from his YouTube channel Into the Mountains? I'm sure myself and Daz will catch up in the near future, mate. So, yes, guaranteed. Mac Rocker, g'day Robbo, again from down south New Zealand. How are you, mate? It's great to see you here. I know you don't have foxes though, so this is a little bit probably off topic for yourself, but still great to see you on. Dear Diary, interested in Edward's question. Stop putting pressure on me, guy. Yeah, well, yeah, I think I've answered that one. Trevor Foster, hi Steve. Now, if anyone wants a knife, mate, you need to get onto this bloke. This guy is a legend. How are you, Trev? Amy811, let us know your favourite recipe for fox. I can't go past a bit of slow cooked red dog. Oh well, mate, you'd have to cook it well before it'd even go past my lips, I can tell you. Hayden Carney, have you tried the Wolf Eyes brand of torch and what do you think of them? No, mate, I haven't. Definitely a lot of guys use them and I think they were probably some of the earliest quality LED torches. So, but no, I don't have one in my arsenal. So. Dear Diary, have you ever tried barking like a fox? Works a treat for us as long as you don't mind looking like a crazy man. Yeah, if you're talking about that cough they sort of do overnight, yes, I have done that. Hasn't been overly successful, but it sometimes does get that one to stop and have a bit of a look. Yeah, but it probably comes down to how good you are at doing it. Religion is poison. Best caliber for foxes is the 17 Remington. It was actually designed for shooting pelts. Yeah, well, things have changed a lot with the 17 Remington. I had a lot to do with that sort of late 70s, early 80s when everyone was shooting the 17 Remington. And what we've got to remember is things have changed heaps in the time that was developed. Projectiles have changed heaps. And I've seen just as many big holes in foxes with 17 Remingtons have just hit them not in the right spot. So I would say any of the 223, 222, 204 with the correct projectile and shot in the right location, if you're talking about pelt damage, it's a matter of knowing where to hit them. The 204 with a 39 grain Blitz King, you hit them square on in the shoulder or the chest or front on in the chest, it's not coming out. It's literally exploding on the inside. So I would argue the point with the 17 Remington, it's got one of the worst ballistic coefficients. The 204 has got virtually the same ballistic coefficient and is so much better. Well, it's got the same ballistic coefficient as a 223 55 grain. It's so much better, mate. If you get a windy night or whatever, 17 Remington's out of the game, especially once you start getting past about 200 yards. So I don't think it's the best anymore. It was at the time, definitely, but I don't think it's the best anymore. Andrew Harrison, if you use a vehicle, can this scare foxes from an area and affect them from coming into the whistle? No, not usually, and I've actually had them sometimes actually running up behind me, especially in the dry summer nights, because they think it's the farmer laying out feed behind their truck. So, no, I don't think it is. Definitely, you can't beat being on foot, but no, I've never, like I said, I don't tend to give them the opportunity. But again, it comes down to how often they've been shot at, I suppose. 100 Fisher News. Are you going to do pig hunting videos? We don't do a lot of pig hunting at the moment, but if we do go, yeah, I'll video it, don't worry. Mac Rocker, bunnies and hares, cheers for the mention, love your channel and your work, good on you, mate. You got heaps of wallabies over here, yes you do. Alright, 100 fish in New Zealand, another person from New Zealand. Yes, mate, I know. Top to see you here. Mac Rocker, yep, 100. What shotgun round for the foxes for whistling or fox drive? Very good point, mate. Look, for foxes, especially when they've got their full winter coat, you want BBs or 2s at the lowest, and 36 gram loads minimum for me. Tight chokes and 42s in the mini magnums, either in BBs or 2s, is my preferred load. And definitely even out to 50 yards with a tight choke, they're in trouble. George Coles, g'day. What are your thoughts on the camo patterns available from Ridgeline, Hunter Element and Stony Creek for stand hunting foxes and other game in the Aussie bush? Look, anything's better than nothing, but to be honest with you, I think there is better patterns now available for whistling foxes and being in that situation. And don't get me wrong here, like I said, sitting in just shadows and that can be enough to do the job, but definitely doesn't hurt having camo. And look, some of what I would probably like at the moment is the tusks. Pattern is really good, and the brackenware is quite good, especially in the summer. It's nice and light. James Clements, great channel with brilliant editing, could make a Netflix series. Thanks, James. Aussie Hunting Life, what's your total for fox bounty in 1 year? Well, to be honest with you, not a lot, because we don't do a lot of fox whistling and that anymore, because we tend to spread out. We used to be primarily fox shooters, and when we did, there was no bounties. So, well, there was with tails for a little while, but yeah, you can earn a couple of grand, no problem at all. Yeah, like I said, we don't go out anywhere near as much as we used to. Yeah, so probably if we were to do sort of 100, say 50, 100 hunting trips over the year, where all of those used to be either fox or rabbits, now probably 60% or even 50% of those would be deer hunting. So yeah, we tend to spread it out a bit more now. Religion is poison. How confident are you shooting a fox for a pelt at 300 yards on a windy night with any caliber? Well, not as confident as I would be at 100 yards. But look, it comes down to how much shooting you've done. Like if you haven't shot for a few weeks and you get on top of that four-wheel drive and whatever, and it's your first shot for the night, yeah, if you're ever going to miss, it's probably going to be there. But once you start to get into a rhythm, 300 metres, yeah, it's a fair distance at night. So windy night, yeah, definitely. I won't say I haven't done it, but yeah, I'm not going to be as confident. I'll be trying to get in a bit closer, and hence why I have the quad bike set up for that. I can cover ground real quick. Connor Maney, hi mate, what is the best place to shoot a fox with 22 and at what distance? In the head, 50 to 75 yards with the old Winnie PowerPoints, they're going down. Jason Richards, does it annoy you when you see foxes, urban areas, when you can't do anything about it? Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to pull over and have a bit of a whistle, just for practice. Mackenzie Brown, there's a lot of opinions, but do you prefer under and over or side by side? Well, I suppose our hand's been forced there. To be honest with you, I'd prefer neither. If I had my choice, I'd be going semi-auto. Belgium A5 would be probably on the top of my list. But I probably like I think most of the under and overs are a little bit heavier, and when you're shooting the heavier loads, I think that would just make it a nicer gun to shoot than possibly the little side-by-sides. Nice guns though, but probably more orientated around birds. But again, I'm not a massive shotgun shooter. Still looking for Paul Binsey, still looking for the elusive Tasmanian fox. Well, if you find it, Paul, I think you'll set yourself up. Hey, regarding above questions, thought on subsonic rounds on foxes, ethical. Cheers, mate. Look, subsonics have their place, and I wouldn't say they're the best choice for foxes. You want a full powered 22 round for foxes and a hollow point. Hayden Carney, we should go out for a shoot one time with Mackenzie Brown. We've got heaps of them running around. Well, you never know, mate. We'll have to catch up. Religion is point 75. Yep. B. Coxie, love your work, Robbo. Thanks, mate. Righto, how we going? Now, when I get towards the end of the questions here a little bit, I'm going to go through a couple of the whistles I've got, and I might actually just show you some of the tunes that you can sort of get out. I don't know how it's going to come across on the microphone, but we'll give it a crack. Mac Rocker, here we go. What's he got? You need to do more of the bunny slaying videos. Bring the preacher back. Amazing watching those. Yeah, mate, I tell you now, if the rabbits were in the numbers they used to be, don't worry, I'll be loading heaps of 6mm pills. But it's just not coming back. Geez, guys, it's pouring rain outside. Hopefully you can hear me over this rain. Jimmer, what sort of magnification on a scope would you recommend for spotlighting, stalking? Very, very good question. I'm going to have a bit of a sip of my drink for you. Look, there's an old rule of thumb, and I don't know if you know about it, guys, but your eye can basically dilate roughly to 7mm it can let in of light. So if you divide your power of your scope into the objective size, the closer it gets to 7, the old rule of thumb was the better the light gathering was going to be of that scope. Hence why you have an 8x56. 7/8 of 56. So that scope can let in as much as your eye can possibly see. But I think with technology, a lot of that's gone out of the door to a degree. But look, for spotlighting, I would not go... look, a lot of people make the mistake winding their scopes right up, and what they've got to remember, when they back them off, they get brighter. So look, most cases, 6 to 8 power is plenty. Yeah. Alright, what have we got here? Glad to see the T2 is treating you well. It's a great little whistle. Carl McKenna, did you ever skin them back when they were worth coin, or just do the bounty? Yeah, we used to skin them. I wasn't the best at it, but I could skin them good enough. I've got a fair few skins still at home, but I was no legend at it, I can tell you that. But for a while there, when we were serious, we used to actually have a compressor in the back of the car and used to just put a little hole in and blow them up just to separate them. Sometimes we're a bit lazy, we wouldn't do them until in the morning. If you were out sort of from dusk till dawn, the last thing you want to be doing is skinning foxes. But yeah, Aussie Hunt, do you take pelts or more concerned with eradication? Eradication, mate. Look, we've got to do a job for the farmers, as simple as that. Not only for the farmers, for Australia, because they're creating a massive impact, not only on our stock, but just all our native animals, well, a lot of our native animals. Alan Holder, love your channel, Robbo. Thanks, mate. Pleasure, buddy. Mackenzie Brown, Subsonic or power points for 22? Power points all the way. Joy Augo 6. What's the best time of year for shooting foxes? Well, I've covered that a little bit before, but definitely the summer is probably the peak, and probably in Australia, sort of late November through to the end of February is probably the best time for whistling. But then again, we've had good times in the winter too. Show us your back of hand call. Do you ever do this? Nah, mate. Don't waste my time. If I've got a whistle, hunting a rat, or dilate over the 5mm when you're the age of 40. Geez, I don't think mine were even opening past about 2mm a couple of months ago. Hunter and Fisher NZ, I would recommend a 3 to 9x40. Yeah, well, it's a versatile sort of scope, but I wouldn't say it would be my best choice for a spotlighting scope, but quality of scope comes into it for spotlighting. Richard Haffer. At the end, Steve, do you give your email address or is it that private, mate? No, my email address I think is actually up on my Facebook channel, but yeah, my Facebook page. But yeah, if you need it, I can get it to you, mate. No worries. Mackenzie Brown, what do you reckon? Black hand squawker. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Jimmy, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah. Have you ever gotten into denning with the terriers? No, not purposely going out for that, but a few of the farmers' dogs have denned up quite a few and come out worse for wear. And what you'll often find is once those dogs go in, you'll know that something's going on. So you just back off. Once the dog comes out, usually within the next couple of minutes, that fox will you'll see his feet come out, and that's when you'll be ready to nail him. Peter Critch Gold, keep it up, boy. Doing a great job, man. Thanks, Pete. Good on you, mate. George. If you want Lee to make some belts, mate, I'll send you his email address. Yeah, send me a private message or something, and I'll get that out to you. Or I can put it in the description. He does quality work, the old fella. Mackenzie, do you just stick with the main 22 bullet brands or try the cheaper brands? Basically, we've always just shot the Winchester because it used to shoot the best out of our old Brunos, mate. We all had Bruno Model 2s. We've all still got Bruno Model 2s. Steve, come across many cats while out knocking the redcoats? Yes, quite often, and yes, I have called a few into the whistle, and yes, they are usually, or some are almost the size of foxes. So yeah, but some properties got more than others, obviously. What's your favourite cartridge for pole axing foxes? Well, probably the 204 at the moment. The 222 was my bread and butter for many years. So a good hand loaded 50 grain projectile on the 222, 55 and the 223, or in this case the 39 Sierra Blitz King for the 204. What time is it in Australia? It is, 45 minutes gone already. 7:45, mate. In Melbourne, that's Melbourne time, or East Coast Australia. What scope on the Bruno Model 2? Oh, you should just have 4 power, right? Any 4 power would do the job. 6 probably wouldn't go past that. What's your go-to spot for fox shooting? Or do you keep that secret? Now, my go-to spot for fox shooting is, I'll tell everyone, it's where the foxes are. So, yeah. Sorry, Hayden. Jim, do you find the farmers only take you seriously if you're looking for places to shoot, if you only have a decent vehicle to do so? I don't think so. I think you've got to sell yourself. When you get an opportunity, you've got to prove that you can do the job that they require. So, yeah, the hardest bit is to start getting on. But once you get on to one, it's sort of a snowball effect. MD Spice, I've smashed 2 foxes and 3 cats on my 2.5 acres in the last 5 weeks. Farmland all around. Good on you, mate. Righto, T2 is great, and it is time to talk whistles. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to go through a few of the whistles that I've started off with, so hopefully you'll still hear me here. Now basically, that one there is the original little, well, I think that was my original button whistle, which I still use today. This is probably a more elaborate version with sealed edges. Don't ask me where I got that. Then we move on to the Tenterfields. The Tenterfield, this is one I made myself. I used to make them myself out of Colorbond, and you can see the big hole is to the bottom, and I always put the string, tie the string on the top, so I know that that's the way it's got to go when I'm not looking at it. Then we moved on, and the big fella, Big Jake, come in and started punching us out some in stainless steel. And these were probably, up until I got the T2, our go-to whistle. Right, now we move on to the T2, which is obviously got the advantage of being not only a Tenterfield style whistle, but it has the little trumpet part in it as well. So that is probably my favourite at the moment. There's a few others that I don't. There's a few others that I sort of use. Sorry, wrong page. That page I want. There's this thing I've used it to sort of bite down on it. It's pretty good. Again, if nothing else is working, give it a try. Now, I think this is another one that Paul from Fox Calls sent us. This is I think it's a Ghost Runner. I haven't used it a lot, but again, always worth having it in the arsenal. Now, what's this one called? This will test me. I think it's a mini meanie or something like that. Again, it's a bit of a reed sort of thing. You bite down, and by different pressure, you sort of get different sounds. So, alright, what do we got? Whistle time helps. There are foxes there for sure. How long do you wait between whistles and whistles? Well, I have answered that a little bit, mate. So if you missed out, might pay just to go back. Again, I've just got to keep moving on here. Tyler Haywood, what is your favourite whistle? The T2 at the moment, mate. Juggernaut. G'day, Robbo. Love your work, mate. Keep it up. Thank you. Moments like me. Would you consider a 22-250 okay for dogs and foxes, or too much? Keep up the awesome work. 22-250, no problem on dogs, mate. Again, shot placement. 222-204, they'll all do dogs as well with the right shot. Cheers for the answer. Great job. Look forward to the next. Cheers, nice. Now, before I diverge a little bit here, boys, Daz said to me the other day, you're going to run out of topics pretty quick doing one a week, and he's spot on. I'm probably going to run out of topics, so I'm going to need some input, as I've mentioned before. If you can sort of just leave any potential things that you think might be a good topic for an episode, leave it in the comments. Like I had Shane Gibb, thanks mate, from last week. Now what did he put up? He put up a comment. I'll just bring that up so you can all see. Right, now Shane said, hi Steve, I reckon a good subject to talk about is doing your homework and being prepared for a deer hunting trip. Now I think that is a great topic, and I think it's something that I will look at. So definitely guys, I probably can do another few episodes, but I am going to start to think, well, man can only know so much. So anyway, how do you use the Tenderfield whistle? Mackenzie Brown, we're going to go on to that in a second. So MD Spice 22-250, plenty, yeah. Tyler Howard, thank you, no problem, mate. Is the Bruno the best 22 in your opinion, or are there better? Well, the old Model 2, mate, was our go-to. I think we bought them through the boys, bought them in 1983, I think we bought 3 of them from Frank O'Reilly's, and actually bought them off Frank himself. And I think we paid $180 for them then. And I've still got mine today. My son uses it probably more than I do. He used to use it more than I do. But great 22, mate. Quite long. And again, if I had my choice, I'd have my semi-auto 22, my little Anschutz that I had to hand in. That was my favourite. Case prepping is based on length. If you run out of topics, you boys should do a field day. Would you love some? Alright guys, do you want me to just sound off a few of these whistles? I'll have to turn the volume down a little bit and experiment, but if you want, which whistles do you want me to sort of sound off here? Is there any ones that you prefer me to try? I'm looking, probably a little bit of a lag here. I agree with the prep for deer hunting trip as a top. I'm new to Oz hunting and still trying to work out how I can identify good potential spots using maps and Google Earth. No worries, mate. That's a good chance that will come up. Hayden Kane, do you reckon Weatherby is a decent brand of rifle? Yeah, look, I don't think there's a bad rifle on the market today. It really comes down to money, value for money. But I haven't owned a Weatherby myself. But I don't think you'd go wrong with them, to be honest with you. Mackenzie Brown, what do you reckon on an old Lithgow single shot? Well, the two 22s that I learnt on were my dad's French Unique semi-automatic, which was, I think was called an X51 or something like that. We found out later on after we handed it in. And my uncle's Lithgow 22, but it was a bolt action repeater. I think it only had a 5-shot mag, but open sights, and that was, mate, I love that gun. So great guns, and to be honest with you, if I could get my hands on probably one of the old repeaters in good nick, I'd probably snap it up, because they've just got a bit of history to them. Alright, so we want to fire up the T2. Alright boys, let's see what we can do. Now I'm going to have to crank the volume down here. So, now, alright, let's just crank this volume down. We'll see that I don't blow your eardrums out. Alright, now I'm going to turn away a little bit here so you can see. Now I'm going to use the tenderfeel part of it first, because obviously the trumpet side of it's quite obvious how to use that. The bottom line is, what you want to do is you want to get your mouth sort of at the bottom of it. Your tongue sort of at the bottom. And the key is not to blow on it too hard. Try and blow down along your tongue. Your tongue's got to have like a little bit of a U shape. So I can't talk and do this at the same time. But the trick is to experiment how far you put it into your mouth and try angle it up and down until you start to get a little bit of a note. But basically get your tongue resting up under here and just move it backward and forward. Sometimes I end up with my tongue tip my tongue right at the back here. So let's give it a bit of a crack. And obviously now you've got the trumpet side of it. Righto guys, that's probably enough of me making a fool of myself, but you got the gist. Now did you hear that? Was that loud enough when I whistle and then guys, or you want me to do it again with a little bit more volume? Can't hear you. I turned it down, I just didn't want to blow it out sort of thing. Righto, I'll just wait for these comments to come up. How do you do a dog howl? It was okay. It was good. Quite different between both sides of the whistle. That'll get the wives. Dog howls, just mate. I am the worst at it. I tell you now, but they still come in. So try and get it guttural. That's down low in your stomach. Oh, geez, now the comments come up. Quite different between both sides. Well, yeah, it is quite different, and it's definitely, that's one of the key things I like about it. Plenty, thanks. Whistle volume was good here. Go 50% down. Righto, I'll go down again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple of the whistles, the tenderfields, and just show you, even though they're all tenderfields, they can sound quite different. If I don't drop it, excuse me guys, let's just drop the whistle. Right, right, here we go. Alright, I'm going to drop the volume again. I'm just going to go through the tenderfields and just show you the difference between each one. So I'll just drop this down. I'll just start off again with this, see what the volume's like. Righto guys, I'm back in the room. So hopefully you heard those ones okay. Alright. Good stuff. Going to try the T2 this weekend and let you know how it goes. Real keen to try it. Good on you, Goran. Looking forward to some feedback, mate. MD Spice, do you feather the whistle with your cheeks or lungs? Oh, that's a good question. I never thought about that. No, I can't answer that, to be honest with you, mate. Never thought about it. I'll have to put some thought into that now. That gives you the thumbs up because he loves his old Lithgow single shot. Well, yeah, I can't say I blame him. Classic old gun. Gorange, which part of the T2 works best for you? Good question. Some days a trumpet, some days a whistle, but that's the advantage of having them both there with you. Next thing you'll know, you have a fox at your front door. Don't worry, mate, I've whistled them up on my veranda quite often, or very close to it. Great stuff. Chuck Norris, hey champ, I love the Tenterfield. Took me yonks to get it right, but how sweet is that sound? Well, mate, we're gone an hour. I'm going to have to throttle this back soon, guys. So if you've got any last questions, fire away. But I definitely need some inputs from some topic. Have a think about it over the week, because otherwise I'm going to have to start to stretch these out, possibly to every fortnight. And I'd like to keep them coming up weekly if I can. And I'd like some feedback on how I can improve it. Hopefully the audio quality is okay, the video quality is okay. I can't change the noggin. You've got to put up with that if you tune in here. Chuck Norris. Hey champ, I love the Tenterfield. Took me yonks to get it right, but how sweet is that sound? Yeah, I've probably read that before. So yeah, it can take you a while, and a lot of people just get spit and dribble out of it, but you've got to get past that. You've got to persist, because it's definitely one of the best whistles out there. Playing the raspberry. You do get that raspy sound in real time too. Yes. Have you used an Apex? Do you rate them? I have. Rob Fickling actually gave me one when we filmed this episode coming up on Beyond the Divide, and mate, to be honest with you, it just didn't. And it's probably just me. Someone that uses that primarily probably got a better sound out of it than me. But yeah, it was probably. I won't say it's a bad whistle. It's probably a fantastic whistle, but I definitely didn't get the best out of it. The Dutch hand is going nuts. Yeah, they all do sound slightly different. And look, on certain days, depending on where I put my tongue on it and where you position it in your mouth, it can sound different. So, like I've said before, it's all about the tongue, boys. Is there any foxes outside you should look at? Best place to practice with a Tenterfield is while you are driving. Yeah, but you can look like a right dick. Simon B, can we hear the T2 trumpet and mini meanie, please? All right, I'll give them a crack in a minute, mate. Mini meanie. Okay, yeah, I got that here. All right. What's the best position for an electronic dock? Oh, now, now I've totally forgotten that guy. Now, I've got the Architect here. This is a GC 500 with a remote, which is, I think it's been superseded actually now. Again, if you want information, mate, I can't speak highly enough, and I'm not sponsored or anything by Get Trapped, but people that look after me, I tend to recommend them, and Pete certainly looked after me here. So definitely you want to put them upwind of your position. And the good thing, if you are whistling on your own, you can start off with a mouth caller and whatever, and then just have that sitting across from you. Just so if one's coming in and you've got the Tenterfield and you've got your hands sort of towards your mouth and whatever, all of a sudden you can swap over to that the other whistle, the other caller, electronic caller, and that gives you that opportunity to set up for the shot. So definitely have their place. What's the best position? I bought a lightweight tent. They're not lightweight. Is there a tent that packs small, etc.? Again, Bush Tune, I don't want to go off topic here, but have a look at the last cast and crew. I think it was the end of the first episode. You'll see Daz talk about some of the tents, and some of them are schmick. So, what about recipes for the topic? Yeah, well, I'm not the best cook though, but we could talk about maybe corning and whatever, so possibly. Bushman, favourite type of projectile for foxes? A fast expanding one. It's just a matter of experimenting with the cartridge or calibre you're using. Usually the 222, the 50 grain ballistic tip, 223, the 55s, 204, the 39s. Obviously, you're more limited with the 22s, which don't quote me now, I can't remember. I think it's a 32 gram load on the standard PowerPoints, probably even lighter, I can't remember. But any hollow point will do. And obviously on the 17 HMR, you've got this 17, I think you've got the 20 grain, but we only use the 17 grain projectile. So shot placement again. Blow the button whistle. All right, I'll just give that. Now these two different button whistles here. So I won't do them. I won't turn the volume down here, boys. So. I'm only doing that quite softly. That's the old one. This one. So again, that's all I used for many years. I didn't even move on to the tender field. But all right, now I've got to go back. Before I forget, I've got to compare the two that was after me. So I'm just going to turn the volume down a little bit here again, guys. Alright, that's obviously the T2. Now this depends on how much you bite down on it. Alright, back in the room. So, alright. Good night, brother. See you, Mac. Yeah, it's later over there. That's why I tried to make it around this time. All right. Sorry, guys, if I've missed anyone. Kevin Waters. I'm still struggling to get the same results as my tenor field. Yeah, look, it's just a matter of right place, right time, mate. Stuart Carhoro, I would love to see an episode on long range shooting. Well, I haven't been doing much of it lately, mate, but if I do get out, definitely I'll video it. It took me a while to get the tenor field right, but it's got me more foxes and cats than any other call. Yeah, I'd have to agree, mate. John Brown, how do we get suggestions to you between now and next week or any time really? Well, at the end of this video will stay up in my live feed. You can just go and add a comment at the end. I don't. You possibly can even do it now. So, but if for some reason you can't, let me know. But yeah, I'm sure you can. Look, T2 sales are going to be up tomorrow. Yeah, he sold a few, and rightly so. They're a great little whistle. Long range shooting sounds as good as a topic. I agree. Yeah, possibly down the track. I might look at that. Again, no expert at it. Your thoughts on using a 22 Magnum with 40 grains to 100 yards? Yeah, no problem. The only problem with the 22 Magnum is I think they've improved the ammo, but it was always never the most accurate round. I think if you got one that shot well, you were sort of the exception to the rule. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes, so would love to hear some more about your history hunting, how you got into it, and what was your best hunting trip. Yeah, it's possibly something. Look, to be honest with you, as much as I do videos, I don't tend to like talking too much about myself, to be honest with you, but yeah, it may happen. My brother used a whistle of the kettle. His wife was going to kill him. That's gold, Brad. Shotgun chokes and shells as a topic. Yeah, I like that one. For different game. I find a lot of people ask me what chokes to run and shells. Well, if I was to do that one, I would definitely need some input from you guys live, because it's definitely not my area of knowledge. Deer jerky, yeah. Again, Lee's the man there. Dennis Baruch is awesome. Thank you, Steve, for your time and efforts. No, pleasure, Dennis. You can get either 40 PowerPoints. Can you now? 40 or 42 in the PowerPoints. Okay. Again, I used to go through bricks of stuff, 500 in a brick, and used to go at least through 2 of those a year. Not too much at the moment. No comment page working yet. Okay, Pete. Might happen when we shut this down. It might be just part of it. It's actually turned on. But worst scenario, get onto me at my Facebook page, Bolt Action Productions, and just leave me a message there, or send me a PM via Messenger. Mackenzie Brown, where do you get the T2 whistle? Yeah, foxcalls.com. Just do a search for that. It should come up, mate. He's the Australian agent. Long range shooting for topic. Yeah, possibly, Jimmer. Don't forget about those close range dog photos. Yeah, all right. I don't know where I'll be able to put them up. I might just... look, I wouldn't be able to find them quickly now. Any talk back on deer sausage making? Yeah, a bit hard to do, sort of thing. Like, yeah, we do it, but I don't know how I'd sort of get it across without actually doing a video on it. All right, guys. Look, I'm gonna wrap this up, and thanks again for everyone. And it looks like it's actually streamed right through, and I've had no issues. Well, you can tell me if I have any issues. But thanks again to everyone that's tuned in. Thanks again for all the feedback, all the support I've had along the way. Still a bit blown away by how the whole thing's running, but very, very much appreciated. So, guys, until possibly next week, I am going to say goodbye. Good night, everyone.